Hey folks, welcome to Software Testing Hacks. Today we have Suresh along with me for mock interview. He is having around 1.8 years of experience into software testing. And let's welcome Suresh. Hi Suresh, welcome to the mock interview session. Could you also please introduce yourself?
Yeah, ma'am. Hi, ma'am. This is Suresh Boya, and I have completed my graduation in electrical and electronics engineering with 6.35 CGPA, and I have totally 1.9 years of experience in testing field, one of the startup company in Hyderabad. So here, as a tester, my roles and responsibilities are understanding the requirement and functionalities of the application, and based on these requirements, prepare the test scenarios to validate the applications and prepare the test cases. Once a build is received from the developer, we have to execute the test cases. While executing the test cases, we come across defect, means actual result and expected result is not same. Then we can say that that is a bug. So we have to write that defect to the developer, and the developer will fix that defect. And whenever we receive a new build, that time we have to check the previous build issues. So that is a retesting. And after completion of retesting, we will go through the functionality of the remaining features. And after completion of testing, we will prepare the test execution report. It is a kind of document. We can mention the number of defects fixed and the number of defects is pass, sorry, number of defects is reopen, and the sorry, number of test cases fixed, and the number of test cases is reopen, and the number of test cases executed. And this is all about me.
Okay,
And
okay, great.
here my skills are manual testing and automation testing, API testing, and basic knowledge in JMeter.
Okay, great. So since you mentioned about defect life cycle, suppose you are, you have a defect fixed. Okay. So now, what are the types of testing that you perform on that? After the defect is fixed, you have received a bill. So what type of testing that you'll perform?
Yeah. Here now, first I will check the retest.
Hmm.
So here to check the defect really fixed by the developer or not. So first I will perform retesting, and later I will go through the smoke testing to check the basic functionalities are working or not. Here we found the defect in the smoke testing. The developer will have more time to fix those defects. So after completion of smoke testing, I will go through the component testing, integration testing, and system.
Smoke testing, because smoke testing you will do it once after you receive the bill, right? It is not smoke testing.
Yeah,
Uh,
ma'am, but as a tester, we have give priority to the previous build issues.
Whenever
So like
any defect is fixed, so would you do sanity testing or smoke testing?
smoke testing.
It is actually sanity testing, not smoke testing. Smoke testing you will do once after you receive the new bill, and just to check the normal flow, if the application is working fine or not, the happy path, whether all the configurations are properly been set. That kind of testing will be done when we have the new build. So that is called smoke testing actually. Once you get the build with the defect fix, whenever you do a testing with respect to that defect, it becomes sanity testing, which is a subset of regression testing.
Yeah, yeah,
Also, do you perform regression testing as well?
yeah, ma'am.
Okay. Okay. While testing, we use the term like test data. So, what is this test data and why it is important?
Ma'am, for example, for few test cases, the test data is needed. For example, consider a login page. So in that login page, we have to enter the username and password. So we have to give the what is the username and what is the password. That is nothing but a test data. So without the test data, we cannot perform the that test cases. So in order to get the test data, we have techniques called equivalence partition, boundary value analysis, and decision table error guessing, and state transition. These by using these techniques, we have to prepare the test data to cover entire coverage.
Suppose in case the test data you are looking for, you have not found it. I mean, you could not get the exact test data. That time, what is your approach?
Uh, no, ma'am.
So suppose you are given with an application where you are not able to find the test data. At least at that time, you can connect with the developers or hired members to check on what test data that you can use and how to get the test data, right? Have you ever come
Yeah,
across that situation where you will not be able to find the test data and you have reached out to developers or some other team members?
no, ma'am.
Okay. Okay. So, what is the difference between integration testing and system testing?
Ma'am, integration testing is we have to check the data flow between the one module to another module. So that is the integration. Coming to system testing, we have to check the end-to-end test, like end user. First log into the application, perform some actions in the application and log out. So this is a end-to-end testing. So here integration testing will be performed by both developers and testers also. But coming to system testing is only performed by the test engineer. So here we have to think like a end user while doing the system test. And in integration testing, we have again two types will be there. Top incrementally adding the integration testing and decrementally integration testing. In incrementally integration testing, we have to add the module and we check the data flow between those modules. That is the incrementally integration testing.
Okay. I think top-down approach and bottom-up approach it is called as. And
Uh,
also we have
yeah,
another
ma'am.
sandwich approach with
In
integration testing.
top-down integration testing, first the added module should be the child of the existing module, and we check the data flow between the parent and child. And coming to bottom to up module, so here the added module should be the parent of the existing module, and we check the data flow between those modules. And coming to sandwich integration testing, it is a kind of both top top down and bottom
Bottom-up.
approach.
Okay. So, do you know what is
And
unit testing?
I am unit testing is we have to check the every component in the application and whether it is working related to the requirement. For example, consider an application which is having the login button with orange color. So this is a client requirement. But in the application, the login button uh, will be displayed with a white color. So in order to check these scenarios, we have to test the unit testing.
You're doing the unit testing.
Sorry, ma'am.
Who will be doing this, unit testing?
Yeah,
Whether
ma'am. Unit testing is performed by developers as well as testers. At developers, they will check at their level
Hmm,
in coding. While getting the build, tester also can do the unit testing on the components.
okay. And do you know what is performance testing?
Yeah, ma'am. Performance testing means uh, For example, consider a application where we can put the load like virtual load, and we have to analyze what is the response time and stability of the application. So this is a performance testing. In performance testing, we have again different types of testings are there. One is load testing, stress testing, volume testing, soak testing. Coming to load testing, testing the application with desired number of uh, load. So here desired number is given by the client. For example, if the client will give, I want to test the application with 100 users. So here design number is 100 users. So we have to put the 100 users on the application, and we have to check what is the response time for every request and the stability of the application. And we have some parameters we will get by using aggregate report. And these aggregate report will forward to the client. And coming to uh, stress testing, we have to test the application with greater than 10 to 20% of the desired number of users. So here we have to put the extra load around 10 to 20%, and we check the stability and response time of the application. Coming to volume testing, testing the application by transferring the huge amount of data. For example, consider a Google Drive. Here we upload the data more than 10 GB, uh, 5 GB, continuously upload the load, huge volume of the data. So these type of scenario will comes under the volume testing. And coming to soak testing, we test the application by putting the load continuously for a long period of time. So that is a soak testing.
Yeah, great, great. That's a thorough, explanation. And can you name some of the tools that we have for performance testing?
I am coming to in the market. We have a free source open tool is called JMeter, and another tool is also available, but it is a load runner. It is licensed with HP company, and in order to work with the load runner, we have to pay license, Neo load, QA load. Uh, that's it.
While you start doing the automation testing, how do you identify the test cases? This test case needs to be automated. How do you decide that for automation testing?
Now, in our first, suppose if you are going to the automation, first we have to test the in manual approach. And while executing the test cases, that time only we come we know the this test case is execute through the automation testing. Means if there is no dynamic content in the in the that functionality, then then we can easily automate the those features in the application.
I mean, in a specific module, how do you choose? Suppose say we have a requirement given. How do you choose this requirement should be covered, this requirement should be covered? How do you cover from the requirement perspective? Any idea?
Uh,
Because
means
all the test cases we cannot write. So manually, we might have to put a lot of effort to, make sure the stability of the application. But you know, in from the requirement perspective, do you have any idea of how does it work?
ma'am, while going through the SRS document, there we mention like for this feature we received a OTP from the client, and those kind of scenarios we have to skip from automation testing because these scenarios we cannot perform in automation testing. And if there is any charts display present in the application, those features also we cannot automate.
That is
Graphics
fine.
content.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, but when it comes to coverage, right? So we will cover the regression related tests again and again, whichever we have to perform it again, the test whichever required to be in. consistently in the regression testing which requires, right? Those type of tests we will choose, right?
I am, yeah, that point of view means first we will check with data-driven testing because coming to data-driven testing, uh, we have to test in different scenarios. So for that, we will use the random string utils class to get the randomness, and after that, we will give priority to the retesting.
Okay. Okay, that's fine. Uh, okay, so for API testing, you use Postman, right?
Yes.
So what is the need to perform API testing?
Ma'am, API testing is a kind of a backend data. For example, nowadays every application will follow three-tier architecture. One is a database. Second one is APIs,
Mm.
and third one. First coming to developer point of view, developer will create the database, and after that he will prepare the APIs. So here we are by using API testing, we will test the application from the APIs one. Before getting the user interface, means before getting the build from the developer, we have to test the application by using APIs. So with API testing only, we can achieve around 60 to 70% testing. Here we can give positive scenarios and negative scenarios. Uh, uh, After getting the build, 60 to 70% testing is completed. So, and we can easily do the automation testing and manual testing.
Oh, yeah, right. Because majority of the functionality perspective, uh, this will be covered as part of the APIs, right? So
Yeah.
from yeah, like how it should work, all will be defined as part of the APIs. So suppose we have a get method and also we have a
Okay.
resource to be created. Can I use get method instead of method to create any resource?
To create any resource on the database, we have to use a post request. By using get method, we cannot create the data because get method is only used to fetch the data from the server. Coming to post request, with the help of post request, and while sending the request, we have to while sending the request, we have to send the request payload. So that request payload data will be inserted into database. So that is a main command.
Right. And can you list some of the files which are the major files is required as part of the Cucumber?
Uh, Ma'am, I don't have a knowledge in Cucumber. Means I have some knowledge, but I need to revise those topics. Cucumber.
Yeah. Do you know the feature file, step definition file, and test runner file?
Yeah, ma'am, but in Cucumber we have to follow the Gherkin language. In Gherkin language, we have some keywords will be there. Like in Postman, we have a when, then, those kind of keywords will be used in the Cucumber.
Yeah, that will be written as part of the feature file. But step definition file, or whenever we have to link, there will be a link from this test feature file to the test runner file. So, I mean, this step definition file will help us to connect to another file, which is action file. So that's the reason we will be having this, and then using the test runner, we can perform this. It is used to run. For test runner is basically to run any specific file. Okay. Fine then. What is Maven? Why it is required?
Ma'am, before going to the Maven, I will go to the just a normal projects like a Java project. While going to the Java project, we have to download all jar files into our system, and from there we have to add to the Java project. So coming to Maven project, coming to Java project, if the jar file version is, for example, say if the version is changed, so we have to again download the new version jar file into our system, and from there we have to connect to the Java project. So every time there is a version change, then we have to manually do the download the jar files and manually add it to the Java project. So this is the disadvantages of Java project. And coming to Maven project, well, in Maven project, we will get a form.xml file. So here in this file, we have to mention the uh, dependencies. So if the version number is changed for the particular dependency, we have to change the just version number in the form.xml file, and automatically the jar file will be downloaded into the our local system, and those jar files will be attached to the Maven file. So this is the main advantage of, and by using Maven project, we can reduce the rework.
Okay. So what is the difference between page object model and project object model then?
Not getting. Can you repeat?
So there is what is the difference between page object model and project object model?
No, project object model means form.xml file.
Mm.
Is it?
Right.
Coming to page object module, in this module, we have to add every web element in the page object model, and later we have to develop the action methods for that web element. After while calling to the test case class, we have to invoke those action methods, and we will perform the actions on the particular web. So by using page object model, we can reduce the rework, and we can reduce the rework. And
Yes.
yeah, that,
Basically, it is a collection of all the web elements. So we can
yeah.
store it at one place and we can access it, right? What is encapsulation and how can we achieve encapsulation?
Uh, Now, encapsulation means wrapping the variables and methods into a single class. So, in order to achieve the encapsulation, we have setter method and getter method uh, for every variable. We have setter method and getter method. So, by using setter method, we can pass the data, and by using getter method, we can get the data uh, from the encapsulation. So, for example, we have a bank application. So, for example, we have a bank application. In that bank application, we have to enter the username and password. So, these scenarios we have to use encapsulation.
Okay. And another part is first we have to define those variables as private. So just we are restricting the access. First we have to restrict the access. And then if other methods wants to use the same these variables, then they have to use the setter and getter method to access the data.
Yeah.
Okay. And can we create object of the interface?
No, man, it's not possible because in interface every method is a by default abstract methods,
Hmm.
public abstract and method name. So it does not have any method implementation. So we cannot create a object for that interface class. And coming to variables, by default, the variables will be public, static, and final. Yeah.
Okay, but in Selenium, if you remember, we will say that WebDriver is equal to Chrome driver. So what is this then?
Here means because remote WebDriver can give the implementation to the WebDriver interface. Means in WebDriver interface we have all 13 methods. These 13 methods will be given method implementation by the remote WebDriver. And Chrome browser class is extended with the remote WebDriver. So all the 13 methods will be overridden by the Chrome driver piece. By
But
using
actually,
inheritance, we can,
yeah, but the actual thing is we can create the reference of interface, but we cannot create object of interface. So that is what I was expecting. And so we discussed like object, right? So what is this object?
ma'am,
What
can you
is
repeat?
object? What is object?
Ma'am, object means by using new keyword, we have to create the object. In this object, we have to load all non-static variables and the non-static methods. For example, there is a method. For example, consider main method. From that main method, we have to call non-static method. In the we cannot call non-static method from the static method. So that time we will create a object, and from that object reference variable we have to call non-static method. Then only it will be executed.
So basically, object is an instance of the class using which we can access the variables and methods present in the class. That is what you explained correctly. And using the new keyword, we can create object. That's right. And can we create, is it possible to, access the members of the class without creating the object?
Uh, that variable is a static, like local variable and global.
So that is what, like, yeah, I mean, it can be anything.
Yeah, coming to if the variable is a local variable, we can directly access the that variable by using class name. But coming to global variable, in that global variable also we have a non-static variable and static variable. So in order to call static variable, we have to simply call the class name. From that class name, we can access those static global variables. But for the non-static variables, we have to create object for that class. From that reference variable, we can access the non-static variables and methods.
Right, that's correct. So fine. Just write a snippet of program where we have to capture all the links present on the web page and show the count, like how much is the total count of the elements.
Yeah, okay. For that, uh, first we will get all the tag which is having anchor tags. So from that anchor tag, we can get the href attribute value. So from that href attribute value, uh, if the link, if the URL is broken, then we can give a count for that URL. And if the URL is empty and it is null, then we can give a count increment. If the URL is not empty, there will be some value for that URL. Then we have to give a uh, connection for that HTTP request URL. From that class, we can give a connection to that URL, and by using that URL, that connection, we can know the what is a broken link and what is a non-broken link. That
Okay. But I just want to know how many elements or how many links are present on the web page. I'm not looking for broken links. Okay.
yeah, that point of view, we can simply use a driver dot find the elements dot by dot export. Here we can not export. Here we can give an tag name. So in that tag name, we have to pass the anchor tag here.
Mm.
Then its return type is a list of web element. From that web element, we can get the total number of links will be present in the application.
Right. And we can use, links dot size, like whatever, wherever we capture the links, that
Yeah, man.
dot
Yeah.
size method we can use. Yeah. Right.
After capturing the link, we use the size method.
And what is the difference between find element and find elements?
But, coming to find the element, we can get the matching. We can get the very first matching element on the web page. But coming to find the elements method, we can get the all matching elements in the web page. And coming to find the element, its return type is a web element. But coming to find the elements method, and its return type is a list of web elements. And if the element is not present in the find element method, then we will get a exception called no such element exception.
Mm.
But if the element is not able to identify by the find elements method, then we will get a exception called empty list. Empty list.
Yeah. It will be like nothing will be present in the list, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Can you explain me like how do we capture the screenshot?
In order to capture the screenshot, first we have typecasting from the WebDriver to text screenshot interface. From that text screenshot interface, we can call get screenshot as method. So and its return type is file. So we have to store the screenshot in a source folder, like in a source variable. Here, here we don't know exact location of the screenshot. So for that, we have to again create an object for file class. So here we have to give what is our desired location, and in the we have to pass that file constructor. And later we have to by using file dot copy method. So we have to ta- transfer the screenshot from target means get transfer the screenshot from source to target location.
It's
That's
correct.
it.
We can copy the file
And
which
another
we have copied. Yeah.
yeah, another way is directly we can get the get screenshot method from the web element.
Hmm.
There we no need to create a type caching from WebDriver to take screenshot interface.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. I think we are almost done with the interview. Suresh, so please.
Can you give a feedback about my communication skills and knowledge?
Yeah, from knowledge perspective, I think you have for with around 2 years experience, you have a great knowledge, right? So yeah, the thorough knowledge that you possess, I think you will be able to clear the interview that coming interview. I think you might have lost the job now, but don't lose the hope. Definitely, you will get it soon. You are prepared well. Yeah, just do it well. All the best.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. Anything else?
Nothing. That's
Okay. Okay. Great then. So thank you for joining me. Bye.
yeah. Thank you. Thank you for giving this opportunity.